Hi, my name is Donna Hunter. I'm a sophomore here at GCU, and this is going to be for my EDU 330 class, which is Social Justice for Educators. I will be talking about cultural competency today and basically what it looks like to be a cultural competent teacher, what it looks like, and where I fall on the cultural competency continuum and how I'm going to include my social justice and cultural competency inside of my future classroom. So to begin, I will talk about what I think a cultural competent teacher is like. I think cultural competent teachers are somebody who just really embraces diversity, who has opinions of themselves, but almost puts it aside so that their students are able to flourish and talk freely about their beliefs in the school setting. Cultural competent teachers are also always doing research, and they're always reading books and making sure that their classroom is the most inclusive setting possible for students, because there are a lot of students that can feel left out, and it's a teacher's job, I believe, to really encourage inclusivity. To decide where you lie on the cultural competency continuum, you kind of have to understand what it is in the first place. So the continuum is actually just a graph split up into 6 pieces, talking about where you lie on cultural competency, where you understand it. It goes from not knowing anything about it to being culturally competent proficient, which is basically the highest you can be, and that's where you're embracing cultures and you're really diving into what it means to be the best social justice advocate out there. I believe that I am lying in the step right before it, simply because I think that everybody can have room for improvement, and I really think that I still have time to take to really understand all the different problems out in the world and all the problems that plague the school system. So that area of expertise is just called cultural competence. So I just believe that I'm culturally competent. So yeah, I just think that I'm basically culturally competent. I understand what it means to be culturally competent. I understand that I have implicit biases that I don't understand yet. And I know for myself the cases that I will stand up and advocate 100% of the time, and then there's cases where I'm still not 100% with all the research I have done. I need to take some more time to read and really dive into what it means to be that culturally competent proficient, because I want to be there one day. I just am not there yet. So like I said before a little bit, what it'll take for me to get to that level is just basically time. Honestly, time is going to be of the essence in this instance, because it takes time to really do some self-reflection, reflect on your implicit biases, on biases that you have grown up with that you haven't even had any idea that you have had before. And I just want to take some time to read and research. That's my main goal, is to read different books by different authors explaining cultures really in depth and really going into what it means to be embracive of different cultures. One thing that I find very important is that culture is spread out and showcased in a classroom. My French teacher did this really well all throughout high school. She had different posters of different cultures hung up in her room, and it made her room feel as though as you were walking in, you were just good to go, and everybody just understood and felt as though they had a home in her classroom. And that's what I want for my classroom. So I will be hanging up posters. I want to have books by different authors so that students will come in and they'll be like, hey, that's my culture. I can read a book about my culture, and that is awesome. And I never had that in my public school, and so I really want to show that in whatever school I teach in the future. I also want to just have like culture. I also just want to have culture projects in my classroom, and so students will get the chance to research different cultures that they may have not even heard of in their lifetime before, and that's really important to me as well. Another important part of in classroom teaching that goes along with social justice and cultural competency is to make sure that you stay socially justified and you stay culturally competent. And one way I really want to do that is by having one-on-one meetings with my students every month and just really getting a take on where they find me, where I lie, some critiques that they have for me and some compliments that they have for me, and then just areas where they think I should improve. I also want to do the same exact thing with one of my principals or a fellow teacher. I want them to come in and do a full report on what my classroom looks like and if they think that there are any areas where I can improve on myself. Cultural competency is something that I find very important. I always remember my favorite teachers, and one thing that sticks out about them was that they always had a classroom that felt inclusive, and that is exactly what I want to demonstrate. And I am so thankful for EDU 330 to actually opening up those doors for me and to open up my mind to what it actually means to have social justice in my classroom. So I hope that you guys were able to learn a little more about cultural competency and just get an idea of where I lie on that. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and have a great day.